So I feel that fire is what caused happiness for Gerald. Or it made his life better in the long run. Later, yeah, the fire in the beginning, yeah, it caused some medical issues for him. But when he went off to live with Aunt Queen, he was a lot happier, and he enjoyed his life for those, 6 years that he was with Aunt Queen. And then, yes, his life went downhill after that for a really long time. But now this fire that with Jordan, I mean, if the story continued, I feel like it would make his life better because he's gone. His troubles are gone.
Fire is kind of a hidden image throughout the novel. I think there was a fire when he was little, and then that caused, what did you said, like happiness, kind of an escape, and a new start for them, which is when he started living with his aunt, and then he was happier. And then in the end, when the fire happened, and then, Jordan, the bad guy, died, and then they had a new start, and then their relationships with their mom was kind of developing in a better way. That's how it ended.
I thought I kind of. Oh, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think the image, it's important because of how it symbolizes like corruption, like destruction at the start of how everything was so corrupt and in the past. But I think the fact that it was in the past is what forged to make like a happier ending.
I think it kind of symbolized freedom, because like the first fire at the beginning, it kind of gave them freedom away from Monique for a while, and then at the end, it kind of gave them freedom away from Jordan because he died in the fire. So
I would say fire symbolized a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
I would argue that it symbolized like curiosity when he was a kid, but it symbolized danger when he was in the fire, but then it symbolized like moving forward with his life because that was the color of his jersey with the Tigers.
I agree with JP on how fire represented new life because Gerald did get a new life after his infant body was nearly burned to a crisp, and Jordan did die, and his death allowed the family to start over.
I think fire was like an image of reconstruction and destruction in the book because in the beginning, it's kind of what started the story and eventually led him to go live with Jordan, and then at the end, it's kind of what freed him from Jordan.
Totally reconstruction, Susan. He was like developed in the fire at the start, and then like he overcame the first fire, so then obviously he would prevail the second one. So,
I agree with that because I also, like I said, I'm going back to the top again. Forged by fire. I think the reconstruction.
I think specifically for Angel, her pet cat, the colors of the cat was kind of like fire, and that like represented kind of comfort for her, especially when Jordan died in the last fire. Yeah.
I think I agree with what you said there, Evan, but I think the fact that he died was enough comfort for these children. Unfortunately, that I don't know if the cat necessarily did anything because they kind of wanted him to go away, so I think they were happy enough and comfortable.
It gave him some comfort because also all this stuff's being burned anyway, so I guess, yes, Jordan being gone gives him plenty of comfort, but, especially for like a 9-year-old girl, was she 13 now?
I think she's
13-year-old girl, like, all of her stuff's being burned down, and then the guy that just molested her for years is dead. Like, she gets a cat just to, be with.
My question is, how did the cat get out of the fire?
say.
I never thought about that, but like, how did the fat cat, they describe it as a fat, like, lazy cat, how did that cat make it out of the fire, but Jordan couldn't?
Rolled out.
Jordan slips and the cat's just like, yeah, might MacGyver it, why not?
Well, I mean, they said that, like, the fresh air was at the bottom, so...
I mean, yeah, it's pretty
cat was
short. How did it get over Jordan?
Look, Jordan was tall, right? They say when you're running through smoke, that constricts your bones. So, good loss consciousness, but
This cat could have just been anywhere, but that cat was a mystery. A little bit off topic, but...
I agree with like Evan.
what's more important, cat?
That is like symbolizes comfort, and then also when like you said like the jerseys, there's all these different things that like kind of remind you of that. And then I think it was Aunt Quinn who wore that, or
She would have
she would like kind of give them comfort in a way. She would go back and forth. She had a lot of problems, but like I think the kids kind of thought of her as comfort because it's like your mom. It's really hard for you to not like I don't know, like turn against your mom because she's like.
Going off of that, I said that fire kind of like symbolized pain, and then after it was over, there was relief. Because obviously, as you said with Monique, I can go off your statement that she did, like, they didn't like being around her at sometimes, but then in the end, there was relief. And then during the first fire, there was obviously pain because he got burnt and stuff, and then he went and lived with Aunt Queen, which was the relief that he didn't have to be with Monique anymore.
Any closing thoughts on that?
Overall, I feel that the fire is really what made this story. You know, the fact that there were two fires really, you know, had a nice beginning and closure to the story. It's really what made the story really interesting.
I agree with you because I feel like the story needed closure, like really like hearing about kind of like throughout the whole Precious movie, just the whole constant thought of like what do we have to look forward to in this chapter other than Jordan really sexually abusing people. So I wanted him pretty much. So.
And that's probably